Hello and welcome to the Pretty Good Gaming Podcast, episode 49. My name's Mike Williams. I'm joined by Mr. Liam McKelvey right here.
Hello, hello.
And Jake Kulkowski.
Hiya.
Did it in a bit of a different order there, because I usually go this guy, then
threw
this
me for
guy,
a loop.
whoever it may be. And just you can't predict this guy. Right? We've got tons of questions, as always, to go through. These questions are left to us on our Patreon page. Every time we release a podcast, there's a post on our Patreon page, and everyone who supports us on Patreon responds with their questions and comments, and we pick out some of the best questions to read in the following podcast. So this is what this podcast is, as always. Let's just get straight to business, I guess, guys.
Do it, baby.
Stay at Home Gaming asks, which next-gen console do you think will be released first? PlayStation or Xbox? Which one are we going to see first? So I've done a bit of prior research to this, because it's a big topic, because I think it kind of feels about, even though I feel like I've just got my PlayStation, it does feel like maybe it's been 4 years, roughly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's kind of creeping up on that time already, which is kind of unbelievable. Current gen launched November 2013. PS4 Pro came in late 2016, so that's not a new generation. That's a midpoint, which is a bit of an upgrade. And then the Xbox One X came out late last year. So we're over that 4-year mark, or we're around that 4-year mark. And we've also got these more powerful consoles. Is this going to go on for like a full 8 years, kind of like what the 360 generation did? Because the 360 came out in 2005. And then it took till 2013 to get a new console.
You're right. I think Xbox have shown how capable they are of putting out different variants of their consoles, like pretty quick. Xbox One, One S, One X. You know what I mean? They scrambled a lot. But maybe they were doing that to try and settle into this generation now, 4 years in. Finally, they feel like the X is like their ultimate experience, and now they can push out another couple of years of good games on that before moving on to the next gen. I think this generation might stick around a little bit longer, and people, maybe the way that PlayStation will go is that eventually they'll release games that you could only play on the Pro, only play on the, kind of like when they made the switch from the regular controllers to the DualShock controllers. It was quite a gradual change, wasn't it? Even though that was in one generation, but by the end of that generation, nearly every game required you to play on the DualShock. I think, even though it's a controller and one's a console, I think it's going to end up a little bit like that, where, rather than a PS5, I think my PS4 will be made redundant before I go straight to the 5. Ideally, I'd like to keep my vanilla PS4 and just get the 5, but I have a feeling it's going to make me upgrade to the Pro if I want some of the latest games, perhaps. So
do you reckon we are due an upgrade, or do you reckon it's like, I could keep going for 2 or 3 years, or do you think like it's about the time for the PS4, Xbox to start cooking things up? Do you think it's about time that they started doing it?
I think they probably are working on something. They always are. Like, pretty much as soon as a console comes out, they're already planning the next one. But I reckon there's a few years left in it now. It's just because how long games take to make now.
Yeah, that's a great point.
We've got Sony's got Death Stranding coming out. That won't be out to 2019 probably. Yeah. Xbox, they're working on loads of big games, going to all the rumours and forums. Yeah. So I reckon we've got at least 2-3 years left before we get a new console.
I reckon Liam's right. I reckon there's games like Final Fantasy VII remake and stuff like that. Fans would be pissed off if
big projects.
If that has to get pushed back and made for a whole new gen. We're probably going to stick around a little bit longer because the hardware capabilities are kind of caught up. Whereas PS2 and things had started coming out, Blu-rays had started coming out just a couple of years after. This seems to be, I guess the push for 4K gaming is something that has been kind of answered by the Pro and the X. So I don't know, maybe if they're really conscious about what their competitors do, and the main competitors being the Switch, I suppose, obviously them two versus the Switch, they want to see what is it people like about the Switch, what they don't like about the Switch. Maybe rather than try and make their own handheld, they'll see what people think the Switch is lacking. Like maybe people want power, maybe people want frame rate, and then the PS5 and Xbox Two, or whatever the hell they're going to call that, will have a little bit. I know. I don't know.
So I just did it for anyone listening. I just did a face then because I was trying to figure out what are they going to call it. It's
Xbox Infinite. It's just powered by collapsing star or something.
That's
I'd buy one of them.
It's a bit dangerous to have around the house, I suppose.
But imagine the power. That'll be them arcade.
Those cars in Forza would look fucking brilliant.
Exactly.
18 billion light years of power or something. So I don't know. If I was to pick one, I'd say probably the Xbox will jump on there quicker because they seem to be shuffling out these consoles.
I think, yeah. I'd
say Sony.
Yeah, I was about to say. I think that's what I was stumbling through saying there, Liam. I reckon the Xbox One X has kind of forced Sony's hand now because now Xbox One X is the most powerful console. That is the best system to get if you are coming into console gaming fresh. You want a really powerful system to put under your telly. Xbox One X is now the most powerful choice. So that kind of forces Sony's hand a little bit. Some analysts have been saying that it is going to, in fact, be as early as this year or next year that we'll see a new console. Michael Pachter was saying that he was one of them. He said maybe 2020, 2019, I think he said. But some have been saying this year. But Michael Pachter reckons that one of the key things is going to have to be, can you take your current gen games over to the new thing? And that's going to be a big question. That's going to be a big problem for a lot of people. Definitely for me. And that's the reason why I've brought this up.
Yeah.
Because I really, really want to take my PlayStation 4 library with me to PlayStation 5, and I can already see it happening now. I can already see Sony saying, "You don't want to do that. Don't worry. There'll be loads of good games on the PlayStation 5.
Yeah.
If you want to play your PlayStation 4 games, just keep your PlayStation 4." That's basically what they were saying when the PS4 came out, and people had these big PlayStation 3 libraries. The only difference now is all of my games are digital, or a huge amount of my games are digital. The ones I want to carry over. So that's going to be a big issue for me. What about you guys?
Xbox nailed backwards compatibility
Absolutely.
lately, and Sony would be stupid to ignore that. It's not like Sony when they're ignoring their fans' constant requests to, I don't know, like change their username or gamer tag or whatever, because that doesn't give them any sort of, that's not because their competition are doing it. If Xbox said you can change your gamer tag a lot, then I'm sure Sony would be like, oh, okay, well, if they're doing it and it looks good, we better do it. Maybe on the next gen.
You kind of feel with Sony, though, they have but we got all these games, though, innit? So what are you going to do? You want to play these games, or do you want to change your gamer tag? That's kind of what you feel that their attitude is.
Digital libraries are something definitely the next console is going to have to look into, because like you're saying, like the way that it's going more and more digital, if one console offered that and the other didn't, that is, almost a deal breaker. You think, well, I've got all these games on the PS4, but I can't play them on the PS5. So I don't know, some games on the PS3 found themselves getting through. Like I got Abe's Odyssey or whatever, New and Tasty. I don't know, I think I got Abe's Odyssey and I got given New and Tasty because I had it on the PS3. Journey came over, Hotline Miami came over. Yeah. They do eventually see, they don't really give you a notification or anything like that when stuff's happening, but I think that's the big question, that's the big fear really. But you're right.
It definitely is for me. I don't know, I just think that the way that I think games are consumed now, that's going to have to be, and if they want games as a service, not only do gamers want to bring their games with them, but some AAA companies are building their business now around keeping people playing games like, The Division. There's still loads of people playing The Division.
If
they get a PlayStation 5, they'll want to keep playing The Division, right?
Yeah.
And so and Ubisoft will want them to keep playing The Division. Yeah. So how's all that going to work? That's what I'm.
How is there going to be a new console if like all these games are not even due out till like 2018, 2019? If they didn't have backwards compatibility, imagine buying like Red Dead. And then in like 2 months' time, the PS5 comes out. It was definitely not happening this year.
That's pretty much what we had in the last gen. Though you had GTA 5 coming out, and then like
a few months later,
there was a GTA 5 on the current gen.
How stupid would that be? And Last of Us, same thing again, really. But I don't think it's going to be this year.
I don't think so. I don't think so either, but I do think it will be quite soon, to be honest. I think it's going to be my prediction is it's going to be a shorter generation than the last one, which was 8 years, and then the one before that was like 4 years. It was half as long. It was just the Xbox and the PlayStation 2. That was a very short amount of time. The only bit, what we haven't talked about at all is Nintendo. But Nintendo are in a different plane now.
They just kind of do their own thing.
I guess they always have, right? They've always kind of done their own thing. But this time they've brought, because the Wii U and the Nintendo Switch have come out within this generation, I guess. The Wii U came out before the PlayStation, was it? Was it before the PlayStation 4 and Xbox?
I think Wii U came out like 2012.
Okay.
So like a good year before.
So that comes out, and that's like the 8th generation thing. But now we're already on the Nintendo Switch. So Nintendo are kind of nudged ahead from the rest of the pack when it comes to the generational thing. So they're just doing something else entirely now. Some brilliant stuff, man. That's what they're doing. But that's a really good question. Stay at home gaming. Hope we had try to answer that as well as we could for you. Mank Maka says, Thanks for answering my question last week, guys. Here is another. Is there any PC exclusive FPS you are looking forward to in 2018? FPS? I don't know. There's what have we got? Battalion 1944?
Yeah.
Well, that one I was looking at on Kickstarter, but I don't know if that's out this year.
Well, tell us about that.
Hell Let Loose.
Hell Let Loose, right? Have a look into this. It looks wild good. It's like a first-person shooter. Giant map. Like I think it's a 1-to-1 scale, 4 kilometer squared map. And it's like big battles, but kind of based on platoons, you know? So little small groups of people taking over barns to hold the different points for your team. So it's like A versus B team, but inside that team there's little squads that are sent out to capture different bases. They've hit loads of stretch goals. I think they've raised about 400k, something like that. And they've added like light vehicles and stuff like that. But the graphics look great, and just little things like fields and hedgerows, and because they're basing it on a real area. It's not like delicately handcrafted Battlefield 1 maps where it's a little bit too feature filled for it to be believable. There's like every 2 seconds there's like a propeller of a broken plane or something like that. It seems like quite a flat area. I don't know if it's out this year, but you know what? I was saying to these guys this morning, I'm not really that arsed about playing a World War II first-person shooter again in ages, and then I was like, apart from that one game, so we looked at it again today, Hell Let Loose, I don't know, it might be really bad or whatever, but they're not doing the Steam Early Access model, they're going through Kickstarter, they've raised a hell of a lot of money, and if you're interested in like PC FPS games that aren't little sort of Twitch shooty preset class Medal of Honor worship throwbacky things like Battalion 1944 seems to be, that could be your thing, because it's still, World War stuff, but with a little bit of an edge to it. It's really interesting. And I don't know if this is a PC exclusive, but there's another game coming out called Hunt Showdown that looks very interesting. You hunt giant monsters, first person, and it seems to be like you're hunting kind of like folklore monsters, giant spiders, werewolves.
It is a PC exclusive.
Well, Hunt Showdown again, another game that looks really good. 2 games I'm very much looking forward to. They're first person shooters, and they are both PC exclusives.
Yeah, there's some decent PC games coming out this year. For sure. Well, they look decent anyway. Pillars of Eternity 2, which is coming out a bit sooner than we thought.
Months, April.
Total War 2, Total War games.
2,
Age of Empires Definitive Edition. I'm pretty much looking forward to that. Mech Warrior 5 as well. I really like mechs.
Yeah.
So there's a new Mech Warrior game. There's a lot of games coming out on PC this year.
Potential Mountain Blade release date is looming over everybody. Yeah. Still keeping it quiet, so probably some ways off, but the potential's there. Just say this in case Gaz is listening to keep him happy. It could be coming out. Who knows? You know what I mean?
I'm looking forward to Mountain Blade, big stuff. But they've kind of. I feel like maybe they might do what Pillars have done. Just stay quiet, and then when they think, well, we're nearly finished, shall we release it? And then they'll go, yeah. And
people respect that.
2 or 3 months notice, yeah. It's always a nice surprise when it happens. And it's kind of a win-win situation. It's not much to risk there, I guess. And people respect. If you say that we're just working on it and we can't give you a date, but we'll give you, like a year or something, at the very least, people respond pretty well to that. Usually, I've found anyway. Is there any particular PC games you're looking forward to, Liam?
Honestly, not like I think. I'm going to sound like I'm not PC master race, but I honestly can't think of a PC exclusive I'm excited for.
The thing is with PC games, I think, is that a lot of them kind of fly under the radar, and a lot of the ones I'm looking forward to, I forget that I'm looking forward to them, and then they just kind of roll around, and I'm like, oh yeah, that thing, and because it doesn't get like the promotion, the subliminal messaging isn't there like it is for a PlayStation exclusive or something, because they'll just be battering you with like God of War is everywhere. I can't forget the fact that God of War is coming out for PlayStation. So you just you don't get.
That's the thing, isn't it? Because the console are also like a PC isn't one particular company, because you can build your own. So all of the marketing kind of comes from the developers and publishers, whereas Sony themselves can put money into the fucking advertising campaign, even if games that they're not necessarily publishing, if they want to, and they got a big pull. They sell fucking TVs and shit. Well, so I mean, PC games, a lot of the time the hype comes after the sale. Like They Are Billions, for example, Battlegrounds, for example.
Word of mouth.
It's the PC community that makes the hype. But definitely recommend checking out at least the trailer for Hell Let Loose and Hunt Showdown. Hunt Showdown was shown off at E3, I think
It was shown off last year at some point.
Yeah.
definitely.
you can sign up for the alpha test for free on their website. Hell Let Loose though, like there's nothing else about that other than some very exciting gameplay. Jack Frags, I think of all people, was playing it, and he made it look really, really appealing. And there's a Kickstarter, so that's mad.
Just what they paid him to do. Josh Northall says, off the back of my question last week, and Mike, you said you didn't like Assassin's Creed. Tell me what makes Horizon Zero Dawn so much better than Assassin's Creed. In my opinion, Assassin's Creed does things a lot better than that game. I think the climbing is better in Assassin's Creed, and even though Horizon's main combat is bows and arrows, Assassin's Creed Origins pulls that off a lot better in my opinion. Assassin's Creed is criminally underrated. Thanks for your question, Josh. I do not believe that is a personal attack, I think, is what that was.
That was in your DM. So.
That was an anonymous text message. Josh Northall is asking about Assassin's Creed Origins. There, how come me and I guess people like me would like Horizon Zero Dawn, but not so much Assassin's Creed? I haven't played Assassin's Creed Origins properly yet. I've sat through some gameplay and stuff, but I've not actually played it, so I can't make a judgment. But
you seem pretty open-minded though about it.
Yeah, I've got it in my. It's on top of my PlayStation right now, but unfortunately, Monster Hunter World happened, so I haven't played it. That's literally the only thing that stopped me playing it. So I am going to play it, and I'm looking forward to playing it. But I just think, you're talking about specific gameplay mechanics and stuff there, and you're probably right. I don't know, Assassin's Creed Origins might handle bow and arrow better than Horizon Zero Dawn, but importantly, Horizon Zero Dawn has got robot dinosaurs in it, and it's a sci-fi world.
That is a caveat, yeah.
And I just like originality, even when it's a bit silly, even when it's robot dinosaurs. And Assassin's Creed, Assassin's Creed is, the big strength of the series is taking you around the world, and it's kind of globe-trotting. It takes you to all these different, and time-trotting. Have I just
time-trotting? I don't know.
It's a globe-trotting, time-trotting video game franchise.
Get that on the box art.
Assassin's Creed, and that's what its strength is. But I just personally would like to just see them slam the brakes on it a little bit. And if after 1 year of a break, they can come up with Assassin's Creed Origins, which by all accounts is a much better game and the strongest Assassin's Creed in a long time, just take 4 years off, take 5 years off. See, treat this game with some kind of reverence and do kind of maybe more like what Rockstar does. Bring out one game, make that one game into some huge thing, make it an enormous powerhouse, an event, yeah, exactly, and come back to it in another 4 or 5 years rather than annually, because that immediately makes me less interested in it. I am in no rush to play Origins because even though I'm borrowing it, I know that there's going to be another one at the end of this year. There's going to be another one at the end of next year, and there's nothing special about it.
I reckon they might have learned their lesson. Be optimistic.
Do you think there's going to be a break this year?
Yeah,
I hope so. I really
if they've
hope
got
so.
a fucking brain. Because giving you 1 year off once isn't good enough to aid the fatigue.
This is a video game publisher you're talking about.
Yeah, but Ubisoft are really trying at the moment, aren't they? They are trying to be good guys.
They are.
And they've had an alright year last year. To be fair, they fucked up at the beginning of it with For Honor and all that, but they've been trying their hardest.
Also, there's no chance in hell that Assassin's Creed is criminally underrated. It's one of the
biggest video game
franchises.
When you say underrated, do you mean people have played it, rate it less than what it is owed? If that's what you mean by underrated, then I would almost agree that lately people are going in there with a bias on maybe the last 3 games and rating it lower than what it is because of fatigue. Yeah, they've played Assassin's Creed 1, 2, 3, 4. No, yeah, you're right. But they're going 1, 2, 3, 4. This is their 5th Assassin's Creed game, and they're going, it's just the same thing 6 out of 10. If you can really take yourself away from it, play each game like it's completely fresh and original, and don't get bothered by that, then that must be really good for you, because every yearly iteration must feel awesome. More of what you want, more of the same thing. Personally, like what Far Cry 4 was, if they did a yearly series of that, I'd probably buy it every single time and play it and like it. But for it to be underrated, I mean, it was a huge success. Michael fucking Fassbender was in the film.
Yeah.
But Origin seems to be regaining a little bit of its reputation. I'll give them that. But if they don't,
the thing with Origins as well, the core gameplay is different. It's not just running up to people.
It's more of an RPG this time around.
It is. Yeah. It's different. It's a different game. It's not. You can't just run up to people and stab them and then run away. Or it's not just about leaping off towers and stuff. It was the same game 9 or 10 times, and then Assassin's Creed Origins came on. And you've got like Black Flag, which changed the formula, but you basically were still stabbing people, except you were doing it on a pirate ship, and there was
With a harpoon.
and there was long naval combat sections and all kinds of piratey adventure stuff, diving off the ship into the water, swimming up to a treasure island, all that sort of stuff. I don't know. It's a big franchise, Assassin's Creed, and I do hope that they'll take another year off, but I don't.
Even if it's just another year, look at what
just do it every 2 years.
What a difference the year made for that one game.
Absolutely. So thanks for the question, dude. Next up is Nilman. Nilman asks, Love the new thumbnail, guys. With how the games industry looks to the movie industry for inspirations, how do you think the approach towards forced diversity will influence the way diverse game characters are written going forward? Case in point, Star Wars Last Jedi. As an Asian living in East Asian country, the way the Asian characters were portrayed in the movie was insulting because they were token characters. Not only were the characters out of place, they were unnecessary and were badly written characters promoting horrible stereotypes. The audience I was with even groaned at certain scenes. Very interesting in your thoughts on the lack of international representation. So that's a big question and a big topic there, Nilman. Nilman's been asking questions every week for the last few weeks, and they've just been ramping up in difficulty.
Nilman's pushing us. Okay, so
as an Asian man in an East Asian country, watching it with an Asian audience, he thinks the Asian audience was not satisfied with the way that certain characters were portrayed in Star Wars: The Last Jedi.
Okay.
How can the video game industry kind of learn to do better? I'm choosing to take out of that question because there's a lot to digest.
I think it's a little bit different because the film industry is a bit weird because there was a long time where films would have a lot, like predominantly white cast, even if they're dealing with different countries or languages like that.
Set in the Middle East.
Take Tilda Swinton in Doctor Strange. She was playing a Tibetan man's part.
Ghost in the Shell, Scarlett Johansson playing a Japanese character.
Yeah, exactly. And I think with what happened with that is a lot of people were complaining that there's not enough representation. So then, stupidly, Disney or whoever are trying to include everybody now, but like you're saying then, it seems very insincere and kind of like token character. Like
it's easy to appear tokenistic.
Like, we haven't got an Asian woman who is really quite shy but smart. Let's put her in the film. And I can see why that, as an Asian person, will make you go, oh, that again. Are they going to, you know what I mean? It's like, there are some good examples, like in... probably not a good example of a film, but it's in the cinema at the moment, so it's off the top of my head. Maze Runner, right? The first Maze Runner film, I think, what's the main guy called? Minho or something like that?
Right.
He's an Asian dude who doesn't use any sort of like martial arts for fight scenes. Do you know what I mean? He's not like got strict parents and is really book smart. It could be played by anybody. He just happens to be Asian. So with films, I think that at the moment, there is this sort of tick box thing which seems very insincere. With games, it's a little bit different because a lot of the times, games do kind of go down a theme, don't they? So take Ghost of Tsushima. That's set in Tsushima, so that I don't think there's going to be like a Swedish dude, a British dude, an American dude. I think they because it's a smaller scope, they don't really need to diversify as much. I guess. People worrying about. Can you remember the Shadow of War discussion about Gondorians are all white and all that? I mean, occasionally you'll get games that will try and diversify and piss people off, but I think there's games because they're made internationally. Like films, a lot of the time it's in Hollywood. Like I don't know whereabouts in East Asia Nilman's from, but I guarantee his country of origin has produced amazing cinema. Because every country in the world produces amazing cinema. Hollywood's a different thing. With the games industry, it's international. So there's amazing Italian, Polish, Chinese, Korean, Vietnamese developers, and they don't need to worry about ticking any boxes because they're just making a story, and it's as simple as that.
I think what this comes from is the attitude that it is a box to tick. It's like it's not the way to think about it, is it? It's the way to just have great characters and don't. It's if you're going to have an Asian character in there, think of them as the character, not as an Asian character, and that's probably what that comes from. He feels like it's been written as an Asian character.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
With an interesting character.
For sure. Like movies do it, Hollywood movies do it. Games, though, I can't think of many examples where a game has done this. To be honest, like
I think games has kind of got a different problem where it's like just homogeny and boring, especially in like the late kind of 2000 or no, I don't know 2000. I mean like 2006 to like 2009.
Yeah,
it was especially everything was kind of gritty and dirty, and it was like muddy textures, dark, desaturated brown, and everyone was a man, everyone was an angry soldier,
shadow.
And they were all like just standing and just staring, like looking, and that's what the box art on all these games were, and that's so fucking boring.
Yeah.
And then more recently, there's been I think personally there's been a greater kind of variety of different types of characters and different types of stories, thanks a lot to indie games and stuff like that who've risen up. But then that's crossed over to AAA and stuff, and a story like Hellblade or something, or where that's not normally the kind of character in that kind of situation you get to tackle normally. But the games are trying to do that, so it's a long process for sure. It's going to be a long, difficult thing so that you can go to the cinema, but so you can play a game at Nilman and be happy with the way that characters are represented and drawn. But I think it's just a matter of kind of maturity, and it might take another like 50 years before you get to a place where, like you said, it's like the world is just churning out cinema. It's going to be a while before kind of video games are maybe at that same level. But even still, like you said, it's still Hollywood centralized. It's still the big Western releases are like Hollywood focused, and these older producers and stuff, and that that dictates the way that the big Hollywood movies kind of come up. But yeah, it's a big issue. I
think if you don't include people, it's noticeable. If you include them just because you're not including them originally, you're going to do a very insincere, tacked on job that is noticeable by Nilman's entire audience watching The Last Jedi and stuff like that. So just fucking don't think too much about it, and it just that's the thing. That's the secret, isn't it? How do you include different races in a story? Just see them as people. That's the answer. Oh my God, because they are people.
For some people. There you go. But that's a great question, Norman. Can't wait to see what you got for us next week. After it's been, what was it last week? It was the week before. It was like, what's your origin story? Where have you come from? And what was what are your deepest fears? That's what you had for us last week. So there you go.
He's building a profile. He's got a file of facts full of names.
That's a great question, Yeoman. Thank you very much.
Nice.
Obai Nematala. Everyone seems to have forgotten that Naughty Dog had implemented the loot box system in Uncharted 4, which I think has made it very heavily pay to win. They locked some powerful weapons behind the loot box as well as some boosters/perks. So my question is, do you think the same thing will happen to The Last of Us Part 2, or are they going to make it more like the first Last of Us, where everything is earned in-game and the process of actually earning something is fun and doesn't make you feel like you're grinding endlessly? Liam, what do you reckon to this? Do you think there's going to be like some pay-to-win shenanigans in The Last of Us Part 2?
Well, I didn't even know they put that stuff in Uncharted 4.
That's exactly what you're saying, isn't it?
Yeah, I haven't played the multiplayer in Uncharted 4 since launch, probably. Yeah. So I have no idea what it's like anymore. Could be a completely different thing. But I think they want the reputation for The Last of Us Part 2. It's got a lot riding on it. They want to keep that sort of like critical acclaim going. I think Sony and Naughty Dog will probably do anything they can to not taint that reputation. And with all the like the discussion about loot boxes right now, I think Sony and Naughty Dog probably not gonna implement them in Last of Us Part 2, or if they do, it'll be way after the game's launched, all the hype's died down.
I think with Uncharted 4 they had microtransactions. The Last of Us, you can buy weapon packs and stuff, can't you? If you go to The Last of Us Remastered on the PlayStation Store,
it's like, I'm pretty sure there's DLC packs in there.
Exactly. And I think either weapon skins or at least weapons. And Uncharted 2, they had microtransactions as early as Uncharted 2. It's one of the first big companies, along with Rockstar, which is funny really, because about this microtransaction thing, Naughty Dog and Rockstar are the two of the people that pioneered it. So I reckon they can get away with it, because people will just be so blown away by the story. Ask somebody who's finished The Last of Us and loves The Last of Us how much it costs for the gun pack. They won't know, because they just keep it so separate. Like we had Isaac, an intern here, who was really big into the multiplayer of the Uncharted games, and it's like something I don't even consider. I'm like, I forgot, because it just seems a bit tacked on when I played it. But it certainly is a thing. So they'll add them in maybe to the like cosmetics to the multiplayer, I reckon. But Liam's got a very good point about the reputation. So maybe they'll just not be greedy. I don't know.
Yeah, well, you can hope so, I guess.
Yeah.
Dark says, "Hey gents, considering most games of you playing as the untouchable hero who always wins, it would be nice to see more games veer off this path and follow the villain. Who are your favourite villains, be it movies and or games, and a brief plot or a game surrounding them?" So who's your favourite villains, basically, in video games? The video games are so rich in awesome villains. You look at the Metal Gear Solid franchise.
That's the first thing that comes to mind.
It's the first one that jumps out, I guess, isn't it? And then there are some games where I think the villain can sometimes just be quite what is this? Just like a vague. Oh, it's a problem over there, but don't worry, you're not going to actually see him for another 40 hours. So it's the villains. I would count bosses as well as villains, because especially in games, that's how games are structured. Especially if it's like a Dark Souls or something, where you've just got these peppered in. But then you read into the lore of Dark Souls, and a lot of these things aren't really villains. They're just guarding an old grave or something, and you're the fucking dickhead who's come along and killed him while after he's doing his honourable duty or something. So I don't know. I think there's.
I see. So you're on about who's your favourite villain, like a perceived villain,
we'll stick to games, I guess. He's opened it to movies and games, but we'll stick to games.
I've got he's an actual villain. He's probably not like the perceived villain. He's like a hidden villain, but Kefka from Final Fantasy VI.
Okay.
In that he is a villain who actually wins. He achieves what he sets out to do, which is destroying the world.
Yeah.
And he does that. And the second half of Final Fantasy VI is just like you're getting your party back together, and you're like, let's just go do this for our own personal vengeance. It's not like at that point in the game he's already won. He's like an almighty god by that point, and he's achieved his goal. And so you as the player's party just sort of like, let's see if we can just like go get our revenge sort of thing.
Yeah.
And it's just like for the first half of the game you don't even really pay much attention to Kefka. He's like a bit of a goofy side character, and then there's sort of like a plot twist moment going on, and he's like the one behind it all. So
sounds like all the key ingredients of a great villain to me, Liam. That's a good pick.
Decent.
What about you, Jack?
I'm thinking of some, and I can think of some that are pretty cool, but their motives are always really like childish and stupid. Like Sephiroth from Final Fantasy VII is pretty cool, and then what's his motive?
I mean, it's like
I don't know my dad that well. I'm gonna bomb the world.
They locked my mum up. She was an alien.
Yeah. I'm gonna destroy the world. It's like, actually, you get no props for that, you little bitch.
Yeah.
You know what? I couldn't really tell you off the top. For cool value, I guess, if you want to call it that. I do like the. I know, cool value. What is it like even?
That sounds like a fucking budget chain of clothes.
Yeah.
Cool value.
Cool value trainers.
Yeah. Have you been out of cool value again? Cool value Coca-Cola. Cool value cola. Invest now, boys. I've got to say that you're totally right with villains like that. Guardians of things and Dark Souls or Hollow Knight are pretty decent, but no one got shit things. Metal Gear Solid has got some good ones. Liquid Snake's funny. I was just like, brother.
Yeah, it's very Shakespearean. Liquid, isn't he?
I'm gonna go with Old Liquors, I think, because
Old Liquors.
He's quite funny, and the old when he gets Sandal, Ocelot and stuff. Yeah, he's pretty dope.
Mine is Kreia from Knights of the Republic 2, who's like the Sith. Well, she appears. She's like she's a very ambiguous character.
I should probably say spoilers for Final Fantasy VI if you haven't played it.
By now, yeah. That's a good
25-year-old
2 minutes after.
Doesn't matter anymore.
If you're watching this video backwards,
it's 25 years old. Don't complain.
Mine's Kreia, who's a very she's an awesome character in Knights of the Republic 2, and one of my favourite things about it actually, because you encounter her really, really early, basically right at the beginning of the game, and she's a very mysterious figure. You don't really see her face or anything like that much, and it's like. Who is she? Why is she helping you? She appears to be a very kind of staunch ally. Like, would look at like she always has you back. Well, a lot of the time she has you back, and she's not blatantly evil, but where she comes from is kind of a dark place, and it's so. So I'm choosing her because she's a party member that you actually control and everything. But the way the story pans out later on, she is kind of there are sinister things there. She's just a great character, kind of well rounded, and a really good person to have in an RPG party who's really powerful, but who the fuck? Who is she?
Yeah.
Like, who is she? Why is she? You know what I mean? So it's one of my favourite characters. Lewis Welford asks, has a gaming company ever done a collaboration with another non-gaming company that excited you? For example, recently Nike collaborated with PlayStation for a basketball shoe, and they look awesome. No, Lewis, I've not.
But no, they don't look awesome.
No,
no, Lewis, they don't.
I'm sure they do. I'm no fucking authority on basketball shoes. But,
Have you seen them?
I have seen them, yeah, but like they just look like shoes.
Not pre-ordering them, no.
Unbelievably, no. No, I generally, corporate kind of collaborations, the only thing I can think of is because the worlds are so separate, and it really kind of made my day, is because there's a rugby team in Wales came up with a Batman jersey, and I was like, that's fucking great. And it was like a marketing thing for kids, and I was like, I gotta have the. I mean, it's the Ospreys and it's Batman combined in one
Their
t-shirt.
rugby thing's black, right?
It is black.
Yeah,
It's a black jersey anyway, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
they just basically had the jersey except with the Dark Knight symbol. It's complete fucking capitalist corporate exercise, but I completely fell for it. That's the only thing I can think of that's even remotely close to any time I was excited about anything like that. What about you, Liam?
Don't worry, I wouldn't say I like it, but it was hilarious to watch the whole Microsoft Mountain Dew Dorito thing.
Oh my god, yeah.
That was
I did enjoy it for all the wrong reasons, yeah.
For all the comedy value, it was amazing. I don't know, I mean, it was just Doritos at the end of the day. They didn't taste any different. But the comedic value we got Jeff Keighley and
it was
that
a pile
whole
of
bit.
Doritos, wasn't it? And and like a stack of Mountain Dews.
Just
right?
that picture says 1,000 words, and so that was quite enjoyable, I guess.
The internet's greatest memes.
Yeah, I like the candle collaborations that they do when they make. Why has every game got a fucking candle?
Oh yeah,
coming
Resident
out?
Evil 7 candle.
Yeah,
Smelled like fear, was it?
That's and it was like blood or something, like awful blood, I think, and maggots or something, like to make your room smell like the baker's house. Great.
Sounds cool.
Destiny 2 make your house out on the moon. I always find it weird that Japanese companies launch their games over here, the big games, by making collaborations with restaurateurs. Like Jamie Oliver's restaurant in London was taken over by Final Fantasy 15 for the launch,
cool.
and they changed it. Recently, Monster Hunter have opened
their meat shack.
their meat shack.
So these are games that where meals and food
Play a big part.
given kind of a central role at some point.
Yeah.
The food
The
is
cup
placed
noodle.
right in front of the camera.
In Monster Hunter,
so you can smell it.
Yeah.
But does that explain why Sonic partnered with Hooters?
Oh,
What was that partnership about?
That was a collaboration for the gods. That was.
Yeah.
But
I don't get that one.
I like the weird
The
food
gods of
collaborations. Like, what are they doing in London?
Final Fantasy 15 with the Japanese cup noodles.
Yeah,
that
that
was a very funny trailer as well.
Yeah,
that.
it's weird.
But just like Monster, Final Fantasy 15 had the really high fidelity images of
Yeah,
foods.
Ignis cooking new
it was a
recipes.
whole game mechanic.
Yeah. Weird, isn't it?
It is strange, but I hope that answers your question there, Lewis. Thanks very much. One more question then before we go on to Fact of the Week. Michael Kanzeri says, given that nothing gets EA executives excited, like shutting down a studio, are BioWare dead men walking? If they put microtransactions in Anthem, it will be dead on arrival to the public. If they don't, it doesn't fall in line with EA's policy of FIFA makes us hundreds of millions this way, so you need to do it as well, and will be shut down like Visceral Games. So what's the question here? Are BioWare dead men walking?
Yeah.
I guess. No.
We did that story, didn't we? Where Jason Schreier, good old Jason Schreier, reported on people saying, saw his sources within BioWare saying they were worried that Anthem's like their last hurrah sort of thing. If it fails to live up to the hype, then they fear they're going to be shut down.
That's come from themselves though. It's not like EA has gone, you guys are dead unless this is great.
Mm-hmm.
They've gone, oh my god, I think we're dead unless this is great. So they've obviously something has given them cause to do that.
Yeah.
Probably the fact that fucking BioWare Montreal got shut down after Mass Effect Andromeda.
I don't think BioWare would be closed down. I think another publisher might buy them. I think Microsoft would probably love to have them.
You'd love to see, what a purchase. And they've
got
Mass
that.
Effect was exclusive for Xbox 360 for a little while.
Yeah, they've got that partnership. If like in the Knights of the Old Republic was on Xbox, Knights of the Old Republic 2 was on Xbox, Mass Effect on 360.
Oh, what a shout!
So I reckon
if
BioWare did like find themselves on the metaphorical chopping block, I reckon someone would save them. Sony, Microsoft.
BioWare carries a lot of weight, doesn't it? You want a BioWare dev in your team. The guys themselves won't struggle finding jobs clearly because if anyone gets a sniff of some of the games they've made, they'll. If the team as a collective, if they can rebrand themselves something else, that'll be decent, like Microsoft would say.
Yeah.
But the name BioWare is what.
That is an
it's
excellent.
got a lot to it.
That is an excellent proposition there, Liam. And here's what I now want to happen based on what you've just said. I want Anthem to come out. I want it to be a bit shit. I want EA as a result to go, look, you're fucking no good. Pull a Square and IO Interactive job and say
You're free.
You can go do what you want. And then BioWare as a result then sign up some kind of deal with Microsoft, which gets them loads of money, and then they end up making a fucking great Xbox
They're free
game
to do what they want.
that's also on PC.
Knights of the Old Republic 3.
Knights of the Republic 3, although they can't because
by
that time,
if that rumor is true that Microsoft want to buy EA, it might happen.
Just drop the K and say it's like a Neverwinter Nights spin-off, isn't it? Just Knights of
Neverwinter
Knight of the Old Republic. Knight of the Old Republic, yeah.
It's a crossover.
It would be a match made in heaven for Microsoft because Microsoft need.
Yeah.
Imagine they had a game like Mass Effect as an Xbox exclusive. That'd be fucking huge. That's exactly what they need. And BioWare's a American company.
Mm-hmm.
It's a perfect fit. That could be a.
I mean, they've got the history.
Yeah.
They've got a proven track record of working well together.
So yeah, let's not be pessimistic, Michael. They are not dead on arrival. Maybe EA, as far as EA is concerned, they might be dead to EA, but who gives a shit? Like I'm dead to EA. I don't fucking just it's EA.
And look at me.
Yeah.
Look at me.
It's EA. But I love BioWare. A lot of their games are some of my favourite games ever. So I want them to.
And it's sad to see what's happening to them.
Might
now.
finally get that Jade Empire 2 if they go out on their own.
Yeah.
A lot of people want that.
Oh, you can get that on Android. I've got that on my phone. Installed right now. I will show you after this is finished.
It's a sick world that we live in.
So there you go. Thank you very much, Michael. Let's move on to Fact of the Week. Let's have the jingle, please. At one point, the 2007 video game Bioshock was to feature bosses known as savants, which were basically brains in a jar which had evolved beyond having physical bodies. This was scrapped when the developers realised that fighting brains in a jar was not fun. Okay, so we haven't got a 30-second throwdown for you this week. What we've got instead, I'm calling the 30-second Zen Garden. Okay, so this isn't angry. This is well, of course not. It's a Zen Garden. When have you ever seen an angry Zen Garden? You haven't. So I'm just going to say some nice things. What have happened in gaming recently, and you'll just maybe feel a little bit better about gaming. Not everything's bad news, right? So sometimes we've got a 30-second throwdown. Sometimes we've got a 30-second Zen Garden.
Let's go. Relax me.
Monster Hunter World is out. It got rave reviews. It's on Game of the Year status reviews. Millions of people have bought it, and there's no bollocks attached to it. It's a good game. Shadow of the Colossus is out next week. It too has received rave Game of the Year contention reviews. It's been described as one of the best remakes ever made. It's £25 new. Celeste is a game and it's been doing really well. They Are Billions exists. Pillars of Eternity 2 is out this April, a lot sooner than people expected. Nintendo Labo. So let's do some more questions then. Gareth McKelvey asks, what's your favourite vehicle? Mine is the submersible from GTA 5.
This is the second vehicular question from Gareth McKelvey.
I'm going to recycle my answer.
I think this is narrowed down to gaming.
Yeah. So it was like something to do with Lamborghinis last week. I think.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I don't understand cars, so I don't know.
I think I've said it in a previous podcast many moons ago. Metal Gear Ray. It's a giant mech that can go in the water. Yeah. It can go in on land. It's awesome. Who wouldn't want one?
Also, a giant robot.
Exactly.
Yeah. With nuclear weapons on it, just in case, you don't know.
The perfect vehicle.
Okay, that's a good answer. That's a good answer.
And it looks like a dinosaur, which is awesome.
I don't know, man. I like... I remember playing Halo 1, when you got the tank. That was an empowering little tank, wasn't it?
Yeah, the Scorpion
tank.
Awesome.
I really enjoyed that. Good nostalgia there.
You got any more? I got some things I can throw out here.
Go on.
The Star Wars speeder bike from Star Wars Battlefront 2015. There was one little bit where it's like an Endor bit. Yeah. It's just like the planet Endor. What is it? It's a tech demo. You just hop on the speeder bike and away you go. That was so good. I loved that, and it was like, it was just like this one. That was part of the problem with Battlefront. They just had like these concepts that they didn't go anywhere with. But if they could have done something good with that speeder bike thing, Fucking hell, that was good.
Mm-hmm.
Star Wars Pod Racer, again, more Star Wars stuff.
Yeah.
Another Star Wars thing, the Ebon Hawk from Knights of the Republic. Great Millennium Falcon.
Ebon Hawk, yeah. What a name.
This is a cool name. Mass Effect ship, the Normandy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Have your
that's
own-
iconic.
Yeah.
Iconic.
Explore the galaxy in your own spaceship. Yeah. Generally speaking, my
Yours are
favourite
all
vehicles are
involved.
spaceships.
Yeah, they're all bit spacey, aren't they? But yeah, I've got nothing. You can't count a horse as one, can you?
There you go. Sure. Is it a vehicle or is it a friend?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, so short answers for a short question there, Gareth. Thank you very much. Vinny Bartels, is there any game that would be considered pretty outdated that you could sit down and start a new playthrough today and still enjoy without mods or graphics updates? For me, Morrowind and Deus Ex never get old, even though they are both outdated mechanically and graphically at this point. I'm sure both of you guys would gobble up something like Metal Gear Solid, the original one.
It's mainly PS1 games for me. Old Resident Evil games with the tank controls. I've played them so much, it doesn't even faze me. A lot of old RPGs, which are very clunky mechanics-wise, like with the turn-based menus and all that. Again, because I've played them so much, I still enjoy them. A lot of old PS2 games, which have like really odd controls and mechanics, I can still enjoy. Yeah, there's quite a lot.
I feel like you play a lot of older games like that.
I do,
just
yeah.
As a rule of thumb. I think you kind of play games as well that, not modern. I guess like modern games that. What did you play recently? There was Xenoblade Chronicles 2. Did you play some of that on the
I
Switch?
did. I played a bit.
So, but that kind of gameplay, it's like a lot of menus, a lot of toggling through things and ticking off tooltips and running up to people. That gameplay is not hugely. It looks a lot nicer, I guess, but it's not a huge departure from what you might get on like PS2 or something, is it? So that kind of that thing doesn't really date in your head, I guess, does it?
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
What about you, Jake?
Just loads in it. Donkey Kong Country. Could play
So many.
forever. Ocarina of Time. Hitman 2. There's a couple of choice picks. Luigi's Mansion. But it doesn't matter about their mechanics. You just look at it like, I don't know, it's the same as when I watch an old film and you just think, oh, it's black and white, it's just part of it, isn't it? It's like I think the controls aren't...
Well, some black and white films look absolutely stunning, though, don't they? They just look better,
some actually do, yeah. Some games control better than others, admittedly. I'm playing Ape Escape 2 at the moment, and like you can tell it's a place that older controllers having to like look at the monkey. He's like where Liam is now, and I've got to go. I've got to like position myself.
Because there's no camera control.
Yeah,
you use the analog stick for your net.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's it. So it's quite awkward, but part of it I could do. I feel sorry for people that can't. I really do feel sorry for people that can't play a game that's not new because they can't look past graphics. Like for them, it's dead. As soon as I've played that generation, I've played the SNES game. What do I want to play Celeste for? What do I want to play Limbo for? 2D graphics. That's a chumps game, mate. I'm on a free. Nah. I
think having an absolutely breathtaking graphics is like it's a different thing. Like playing Horizon Zero Dawn or something. One of the better looking games that you can actually play. That's a different thing. That's like you're playing it and it's like the fact that it looks and sounds so unbelievably good is part of the enjoyment. But you can go back. I play old games all the time because I play loads of old strategy games. I play Total Annihilation. I play Stronghold, the Stronghold series. I play Age of Empires, older Command and Conquer games. All that kind of old RTS stuff. That just doesn't date to me because it's the gameplay that I absolutely love, and that therefore it's. It holds up. But then if I want, when you're sitting down to play some like modern AAA thing, even if it's not, if it's like Mass Effect Andromeda, which I am kind of playing through at the moment, I guess, it's a certain kind of experience because it looks fucking incredible and it sounds unbelievable. But it probably won't be any good in maybe 20 years' time. It'll probably be an old relic of the time when every game had to be open world and had to give you an endless list of chores to do because that's essentially all it is. So it's a difficult one. Simply Phil, not so long ago you did a poll regarding a spin-off channel with different content. Is this still on the cards, and if yes, what sort of content are you thinking about? We haven't not really talked about anything like this really in the office, but we have done couple of different things last week. We did some gameplay. We did
some featurey type stuff.
Yeah, we did some sillier things. I'm kind of looking forward to the prospect of doing more ridiculous videos that just don't need to be made. And the more of them I can do, the happier I will be personally myself. And the less views
I'll
we'll
think
get
more of you as well.
As a channel. Thank you.
Personally.
I'm a huge fan of
wrestling.
Video gamer. I am not. I just want to Yeah, I'm not a fan of wrestling or Duke Nukem.
Yeah.
Okay, I just want to.
The patrons will know. Out of everybody, you know,
they'll get it.
That's the demographic.
But that's I really love old school video game, man. They used to do just daft videos. They had videos about how hard it is being a video game journalist. It was completely flat delivery. There was the video was like really droning and it's so hard to do. And I just love that kind of slightly off the wall, slightly uncomfortable to watch kind of
very dry humour.
Yeah. So the more of that we can do, the better, I guess. And Jake, you got your little fireside.
It's kind of already become well requested.
It's already become a meme, has it?
I'm not going to say meme. I was going to say it's become a much requested feature. Gaz said to do another one, so I'm going to do another one. Emmi, you guys who watch might not know, there's another part of the team, part of the corp, the mega corp.
Part of the ship.
Yeah, that's it. Corp sounded a bit more crushing, so I went with that.
Yeah.
But yeah, she's going to be shooting a behind the scenes video, she was telling me and Liam. So something like that. But I think that
is news to me, actually. I didn't know if that already happened.
No.
Good.
Yeah, we shot a behind the scenes video without you. Yeah,
I've been picking my nose and eating it like fucking crazy today.
It's going to be more of like a
kind of mockumentary-ish.
Yeah.
I don't do that.
It'll be happening later.
Only serious factual documentaries for Mr. Williams.
Yeah, I think originally we planned on doing a second channel, from what I remember, because Gaz was very much into the idea of it being a pretty good gaming format that and anything other than that would have to go on a separate channel.
It would be sacrilege is what it would be.
Yeah, but I think now we've tried out some new formulas and they received very well, so maybe not a second channel, but who knows. Gaz is the final gate, really, so it's probably best aimed at him, but I'm going to go out on a limb and say I don't think so, as far as I know, because we're doing more varied content on the regular channel, the bigger one.
On the regular. So
move on.
Let's move on. Thanks, Simply Phil. Bristol Danny, is your first name Bristol?
That's
or
actually,
are you from
work.
Bristol, Danny? I really like that name, Bristol Danny.
Bristol's a good first name.
Hi guys, long time viewer and new patron here. Just wanted to ask, what was the first game you ever played, even arcade games? My earliest memory of gaming are from playing Spyro the Dragon on PS1 or even watching my dad play Metal Gear Solid. Since then, I have never looked back. Keep up the great content, you guys are awesome. Mine's probably, I think I've already said this before, mine's probably Super Mario World on the SNES. SNES was my first system for sure. It was my dad's anyway. So there's a bunch of games on there that I played. And the one that kind of sticks out, I don't know if it was actually the first, but it's the first one that kind of left a lasting impression, because it's a fucking all-timer of a game, isn't it? Super Mario World on the SNES. That's mine. You guys, first game you ever played?
Mine is Tetris on the original Game Boy, and that is because there is photographic evidence somewhere of when I was like 2 or 3 years old. With my dad's like big original grey Game Boy, just playing Tetris. So I don't remember it, but there's a photo of it, so it probably happened. It probably happened.
Bristol wants the facts.
Yeah.
I'm going to call him Bristol. Okay, that's his first name.
My mate Bristol Danny wants to know.
It's just Tetris, isn't it?
Tetris.
Mine was on the NES, and it was a cartridge with 2 games on it. One of them wasn't the Mario and Duck Hunt one. It was the one. It was I think it was actually, it was Mario, but it was the one where you had to stop. You have to get to the top with Donkey Kong throwing. Yeah. That was on a cartridge, but it wasn't that. It was the other one, which I think was called Donkey Kong Jr., not Diddy Kong. He wasn't a thing back then. And you were like a little small version of Donkey Kong, and you had to... It was like a little platform. You had to go from vine to vine.
I know the one you mean.
Over the water. Yeah. And that was the first game.
That Donkey Kong Jr. is now the big Donkey Kong. I know the lore.
Yeah, right, there you go.
And the Donkey Kong from the original arcade game is throwing barrels at Mario. That's Cranky Kong.
There we go. See,
the Donkey Kong lore.
And you can get access to the entire Liam McKelvey Donkey Kong lectures on our audio.
Masterclass.com.
Only $49.99.
So it was Donkey Kong Jr. So if anyone remembers that, and then after that it was Duck Hunt and Super Mario Bros. 2. There we go. Thanks for the question, dude. Rudy Manchego, great podcast, guys. As a lifelong white-collar worker, things bubble up when you work in an office together. So my question is, tea/coffee runs. Is there a rota? Does everyone pull their weight? Is anyone terrible at making a cuppa? Is that why you really got interns?
No, we got the interns just for like slave labor, just general kind of, just doing our work for us, while we just sat there, not doing anything. So that explains the interns. So in the meantime, we were actually making the brews and stuff, but I think a few of the interns actually chipped in with the brews.
Well, hang on.
Yeah, James.
Let's be honest.
James actually carried it.
James made about 5 brews a day.
God bless. He destroyed the Brewtality, which I'm so appreciative.
Guys, listen to this, right? I'll tell you a story. This is funny. Right, we had the Brewtally, which was a little tally track of who made the Gaz won a lot, right?
Yeah, it originally started out as an idea just to make sure everyone was pulling their weight, being fair. But then Gaz turned it into competition.
Right, which he kept winning at.
Yeah.
Until James, who's an intern, he worked 2 days a week, came along and won every week.
Well, I just want to point out that I won the entire fucking league in the last office, and I got nothing for it. So I just kind of did a quiet protest in the new league.
I joined you in that protest because I lost a lot of weeks in these new offices.
It divides people.
I stopped making brews in an effort to smash the capitalist system.
Yeah. Right, I think it worked because now kind of...
So what
relic of the past.
We've got a coffee machine now, so we don't have to worry about it. You just put loads of coffee and loads of water.
About this, do you?
It's just a fucking... It's a shit topic, isn't it? I mean, sorry, really, but...
It still affects them. Look, this is what happens when you bring up questions like this.
Just the stormtrooper asks, you want to improve your office, therefore the idea of creating a robot android with a design and an AI inspired by a game, movie, series, book or whatnot, what would it be? Assassin droid to take out the competition, assistant to speed up that long research time, or simply a small droid whose only purpose is to pass some of that sweet, sweet butter. I don't know what that...
Is that a Rick and Morty reference?
Right, okay. Good show that. If we could have a robot assistant doing stuff in the office, up to and including assassinations of our competitors, what would we have it do?
I don't want a robot because then it'll be a Blade Runner replicant situation.
Yeah, well, there you go. That's what I would have. I would replicant myself, stay at home, play games, send a replicant out and do some work for me.
But then we'd have all the... like our replicants human, and then we'd have the whole lot of civil rights issues.
Well, okay, I'd split my wages with a replicant in that case, and I'd like, hey, all right, mate.
But they might turn on us and kill us all.
Yeah, well,
I was going to say I'd get one to make coffee for everybody.
I mean, realistic. A proper answer, I'd have like a R2D2 or a BB-8 sort of thing going on, just like fix stuff, set stuff up.
I'd have a general AI assistant maybe ingrained into the walls, like HAL, Cortana, or the thing
who would eventually kill us all.
Yeah,
because that's how it always goes.
The AI from
Liam keeps taking it down that route, and I'm trying to
every
segue
bit of sci-fi has led me to believe that AI or robots will eventually figure out humans are useless, kill them off.
Not only useless but also harmful.
Yeah, that's why Skynet tried to destroy humanity, because it saw humanity was a failure.
Okay, so McQuardis asks, any video game crossovers you would like to see? I'd like to see Doom combined with Wolfenstein, or Devil May Cry and Bayonetta, or God of War, though I don't know if those would actually work in execution from differing playstyles. Ha ha.
Is that a little joke because they played the same?
Bayonetta or God of War and Devil May Cry.
Bayonetta and Devil May Cry are quite similar.
Yeah, and Wolfenstein and Doom are similar.
Created by the same guy.
I think he's goofed us, hasn't he? He's given us a little joke.
Whoa! Video game crossovers, look, fucking loads of them. I think a lot of cool potential. I think Smash Brothers is...
It's like the king of crossovers, isn't it?
It's the spaghetti junction of video game crossovers. It's everything. Everything's chucked in there.
I saw a good one someone mentioned online. I think it was on Reddit or something. They said they want to see a PlayStation kart racer. So like Mario Kart, but with all the PlayStation characters.
There was a Sega All-Star Racing. What was that?
That was good.
Like some Sega properties. That was alright, wasn't it? That was.
I mean, you could race Sonic and Rio from Shenmue together, so you could do that.
So, Jake, you're shaking your head pretty vigorously there, so you tell us what...
Disagree. You think all crossovers are shit?
You think all crossovers are shit?
I don't think I'll ever see one that impresses me. I think it's really stupid. I hate it.
Are we talking video games to video games, or because...
Yeah, video games to video games. Or
because Warhammer and Total War is a crossover.
Yeah, that's different. Brilliant. That's like an adaptation or something like that. No. I get a crossover of two video game IPs.
Okay.
Like, for example, in Monster Hunter, Ryu I don't want to play as Ryu from Street Fighter Monster Hunter. Stop breaking my immersion.
Mega Man as your Palico.
Yeah, I think it all seems gimmicky. How they do it begin. Imagine playing like, I don't know, Devil May Cry stuff, and then fucking Dante rocks up, hey, and then it like stops, zooms in. Oh man, no, fuck off.
I think because of the way the Smash Brothers does it, it's not like other characters in a Mario game. It's a game.
Yeah, I hate all that shit as well.
You don't like Smash Brothers?
Smash Brothers is alright, but the gameplay is good, but I don't like the idea of it. I'd rather it just be like certain characters. Even Injustice and all that is too much for me. Personal preference. I just think any Marvel vs. Capcom and all that, fuck off. All of that can fuck off.
Well, the last Marvel vs. Capcom is not very good. I played it. It's not great.
Yeah, I don't like any video game crossovers.
I think like Mortal Kombat. It's generally fighting games, isn't it? Where that do it.
It's usually fighting games, yeah.
But I think some of the characters that they put in there are pretty fun.
Tekken 7 had Azura from Street Fighter, and they made that quite natural, I guess.
Yeah, well, one's from a fighting game, and the other one's from a fighting game, so that makes a lot more sense.
Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah, that's probably like
Kingdom Hearts. You don't like Kingdom Hearts?
No. Oh. I know it's an unfair.
Have you told Liam this before?
No, I haven't. I didn't want to tell him. I don't really like it at all. I think it's just dead hammy. The gameplay is good, but I hate how you have to go to like it's the Toy Story
world. You don't
now.
Like Donald Duck as a fucking mage?
Exactly.
Who doesn't like that?
Exactly. Me.
Mickey Mouse is a fucking king.
No, this is exactly why I don't like it. I think it's a lot of the time the story's good, but then it's like, who are we going to encounter now?
Yeah, it is kind of weird seeing like Alice in Wonderland fight Sephiroth and shit.
Exactly like that. For me, I just can't hack it, but I can see why people like it, and there's a huge market for it, and it makes so much sense to get two beloved video game franchises, especially like Tekken and Street Fighter. That's like a match made in heaven.
Yeah, they kind of make sense.
Imagine how well it would, like a Street Fighter versus Mortal Kombat game would do.
Yeah.
Which is the best out of those two.
They did Street Fighter Cross Tekken not that long ago.
See, that sort of stuff makes sense. Personally, though, not for me. I think it's not good.
I think I'm generally I'm totally there with especially movies and stuff like that. I just fucking hate anything that's corporate. Anything that feels like it's just being done as a business exercise. I generally don't like them, and I don't. I'm not into Marvel movies and stuff like that. And it's like it's anything, and that's like an extended universe where there's movies that are connected and stuff. But the reason I think that the kind of crossover I would like to see that would work cool is an RTS where you've got like one faction from StarCraft versus like a faction from Command and Conquer or something like that.
Okay.
And I would really enjoy the possibilities of different, because they are built up as factions and they've each got their own Generally, it's like build a base, build a harvester, build a barracks, build a tank.
Yeah.
What would these be like to pitch against each other? And I think that could be quite cool if anybody had the money or the inclination to make a game that only kind of a small amount of people would even
that would
play.
work as well, because they've all got similar archetypes, haven't they?
Yeah.
Sort of war.
I mean, some of the
factions.
StarCraft ones are pretty much rip-offs of Warhammer.
Yeah, you could say that there's a resource gatherer, there's in every single one, so balancing, it's just.
So I think some opening like that, I'd definitely check it out anyway.
It runs the risk of being very fan servicey as well.
Yeah.
So a lot of crossovers happen in Japanese gaming, and a lot of them are really, really like just out of place, forced, bit hammy.
Like the cup noodles in Final Fantasy 15.
Yeah, it's just because it's a popular food product in Japan.
Exactly.
And people are like, haha, look, my cup noodles are in my game.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a bit weird and forced.
Okay, a few more questions. Lord Dicer says, YouTube gaming channels seem to be on a rise, suggesting a lot more people are getting their news and reviews from independent YouTubers. Do you yourselves watch other channels to gather other people's opinions on games or for other interests? And if so, what are your favourite channels to allow to follow and why? We kind of answered what our favourite channels are and stuff in the past, and we recommended a ton of them. But do we watch?
So it's about like other news YouTubers, like Jim Sterling.
What YouTube channels? Of course, we watch a big amount of YouTube videos because that's our business, I guess. And I used to do it a lot before getting a job here. I used to watch loads of Matt Lee's Cool Ghosts Video Gamer, and generally kind of YouTubers that made me happy. But I also watched Jim Sterling and Total Biscuit, who made me not happy. But I watched them because just like in my work break, when I was working, I was constantly following this sort of stuff. So I've just brought that stuff into here, into this job here, I guess. But I've kind of fallen off a little bit recently, I suppose. I think there's loads and loads of YouTubers at the moment. It feels like there's been a huge, like you've pointed out yourself here, Lord Dicer. There's a huge, if that is your real name, there's been a huge explosion in YouTube gaming channels. Genuinely, there's just fucking loads of them that have just come out of nowhere in the last, us included, I guess, in the last year or so.
Yeah,
I watched Jim Sterling's Jimquisition this week for the first time. First time I watched the Jimquisition in a long time, and it was, it just fucking pissed me off. I just it gets my head in a certain place. So I think maybe because I'm 8 hours a day thinking about this stuff and writing about it and researching it and things and talking about it in front of a camera, that maybe when I'm in my personal life now, I'm kind of more, I'll watch stuff like about science videos and movie blogs and stuff like that, and stuff that isn't necessarily gaming related, because it just, if that's your work, you do want to feel like you kind of, well, I do want to feel like I can go to something else when I clock off at the end of the day. I don't want to necessarily go home and then continue to have my head in that same space, because you need a refresher, or at least I do. I don't know. What about you guys?
I mean, what was the question?
YouTube channels are on the rise. There's loads of them. Do you watch a lot of YouTube channels?
I watch a lot of not necessarily newsy stuff. I watch a lot of gameplay and review type stuff.
Yeah.
Just because, like Mike said, we write the news, edit videos about gaming news. So when I get home from work, I just want to kind of watch something that's not news related, or something completely different, like TV or movie review, something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's most of my gaming on YouTube is just gameplays from Funhouse or old retro game reviews. I like watching quite a lot because you end up getting quite a lot of insight from them. Yeah. So yeah, it's just mainly stuff that isn't news. I know that's a bit stuff. Not a great answer, but yeah, that's all I've got to say.
It's because most news stories break on written format. Yeah. And if we're scouring, the chances of us seeing a news story that's not been broken that we've read is very slim. We if you go home and check out, I don't know, whatever, The No or IGN or whatever, or Yongay, Sid Alpha even, pretty much every time, you already know what the story's about. Yeah. Unless they, make it,
put their unique spin on it.
Yeah, exactly. So it's more about that, isn't it? Watching how people cover a situation you already know about. So I don't really care. So I just watch Indie Mouse. I like him a lot. He's really good. So it's Australian guy that makes videos about Dark Souls and then tries to make everything else about Dark Souls. He's a bit of a dweeb, to be honest, but I think he's really cool. Okay. And he's killing it. I don't really like the video essayist types, but I accidentally clicked on the Clean Prince Gaming video because I thought it was one of our videos that I didn't know about, and I actually really enjoyed it. And so I've been watching a couple of Clean Prince Gaming stuff. I think his editing's really nice as well. So I've got to say, I do rate him a bit. And then video game wise, PlayStation Access, I like the dynamic. I like that they're not just fucking harbingers of the apocalypse. They're not doomsayers. Video games are shit now. They're just, and I know
they could kill you with kindness.
Exactly. I just like the nice British channels, innit? That's it. That's all I watch, really.
Yeah, the laid back stuff.
I don't. That's the thing. I watched them. I watched Eurogamer, Aoife and Johnny Chiodini playing Dark Souls for a bit, but it's just a bit long. It's just whole unedited Let's Play in 5 parts. Right. Couldn't be arsed with that. I like the little featurette bits and stuff.
Let's Plays is another thing. I guess the only one that I have spent any amount of time looking at is Lionheart, who does Total War Let's Plays. Yeah. He does a bloody good job of it.
He's very nice.
Very nice man is all Lionheart. And also Varty Video, who's, I don't know, he gets some shit or something from the Soulsborne community, but I really like him.
He's been accused as taking other people's content without credit and stuff like
Right,
that, I think.
right.
Yeah, which
Okay.
I think would later was disproved, but then people who didn't follow the whole thing just heard the bad part.
The bad bit, yeah.
Um,
But he's bloody good. If you've got any interest in Dark Souls and Bloodborne,
Yeah.
I can't think of many YouTubers that actually enhance the actual product that if you've just enjoyed Bloodborne.
Oh yeah.
He will actually just help underline.
You might as well be
and
the official companion piece.
honestly, I think the way you can tell that they are a big fan of him because he gets access to a lot of stuff and that, and he gets things early.
Just hire him
So-
from software.
Yeah,
Let him write you
he's a
law.
good lad.
Yeah.
So there you go. I hope that answers your question there, Lord Dicer. So Blizzard Smith, in our penultimate question, I am a fan of the truth, integrity, and down-to-earth real-world opinions on the channel. But as you continue to grow, do you consider this may be difficult to maintain? Say, for instance, EA offered a wedge to try and put a better spin on the recent Battlefront mess, or developers offer you certain access and perks for coverage. I think it's tough because it would almost be deserved for the work you put in, but also could also compromise what made you popular. I don't think there's any danger of.
I think this is a bit of a myth, I really
Yeah.
do. Like people, we made a video about Monster Hunter, and there's people commenting how much are they paying you. Honestly, much money?
like about 10 grand.
Yeah,
Yeah.
fucking hell, yeah. Imagine. I could get a PS4 Pro with that money. No, I'm telling you, I hear about IGN as well. Like people say to Alana Pierce, like, "Oh, how much are they paying you?" Do you really think developers give that much of a fuck? It's yeah, sure. The big mainstream companies like IGN will get paid advertising and things like that. But YouTubers like us, do you honestly reckon Capcom would say, "Hey, we'll only give you the copy if you give
do
it
a
a
good
good
review."
as if." I mean, we don't even give a numbered review anyway, and. I don't know. I think it's a bit of a myth. Anything that's positive on this channel, people think is that, well, not everybody, but people are like, how much did they pay you?
Yeah.
How much money do you think they are billions developers have to throw around? Give it to every
Kingsway was the
fucking
funniest one.
Kingsway, some
A
game,
one-man dev.
yeah, some
Paid us
Windows
millions.
95 game. As if, like, look how many people are doing content on the game. It's a bit of a myth, I think, really.
I completely agree with that. I think that it's very easy to see from if you're not involved in it. Of course, if you see a channel that's constantly got kind of news titles and thumbnails and headlines that are like not good, and then they play a game, and suddenly that they're enjoying this other game.
Yeah.
Well, even if all the titles prior to that are completely unrelated to that game, that's a lot of things that are kind of negative, and then one thing that seems to be quite positive. That's going to kind of stand out and it'll make you see. But
Yeah.
if there's, I think there's probably a lot of like conspiracy, theorism and stuff like. They're not being bad on this video. They're not complaining.
So why?
about
I
things.
just don't get why they go straight for they must be getting paid by a company.
I think maybe because it has happened, or there has been cases, especially on YouTube, where there's really fucking high-profile YouTubers have just
There's that whole-
completely done an ethical kind of selling things to their audience.
Wasn't it Machinima? They got in trouble for promoting Xbox when they weren't meant to, or something. They didn't disclose they were being sponsored.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, like it's fucking Instagram influencer fucking bullshit, innit? What's that? Yeah, I know what you're saying.
And then there's a certain in America. There's a certain advertising culture where they kind of tolerate adverts a lot more. So then as because there are a lot more adverts flying around, there's a lot more sponsorship deals. Like any American podcast, there's like 3 ad reads at the beginning of it.
Yeah.
And so that because of that kind of it's
Shouts
easier
out Blue
for
Apron, by the way, for spot.
for an American audience to go, well, this is positive. This video is positive. Therefore, is it sponsored? Because it sounds like they it's
Because that's more plausible than these guys like.
It's easy to exactly. It's easy to understand, but it's just not happening. And there's no. I don't think there's absolutely no chance that that as we get larger. We'll be more afraid of what the publishers have got to say, because I think we're already like they can see the videos, they can see the thumbnails, they can see the titles. They either want to give us review code or not. If not, then we'll buy the game and there's nothing to worry about anyway, and we'll review it that way. So it's talk about it that way. So there's just I think you're right. I think it's a myth. I think that's the right kind of thing to say about it. Myth. So final question. Very friendly Norwegian says, if you could enter a virtual world where zombies walk the face of the earth and everything else has gone to shit, and the only way to return back to the real world was by getting eaten by a zombie, would you do it? P.S. If you die, otherwise you respawn with no gear at some random coast. PPS, you guys are great. Would we volunteer to take part in a zombie apocalypse? And so, the only way out of it is to get eaten alive by zombies.
Do you feel all the pain or something?
Don't know.
I think that's what it is.
You're in the test.
Is it like to get back to the real world, you have to die in the game, but you feel the pain of being eaten alive?
He also says if you die otherwise, you'll respawn. So if we were to just get out of there,
so the only
you've got to get munched.
So it's zombies. Like, could you bear the pain? Well, if it's just like a virtual thing, we don't feel anything. Sure, I guess.
Yeah, that's too easy for very friendly Norwegian, may I remind everybody. All right?
Yeah.
With a very friendly question.
Yeah. No, I guess if you felt every sensation, I suppose you just got, if you wanted to get back to the real world, you just got to sort of bear it, I guess.
Yeah. You're going to have to.
I don't know if I would do that. I've got quite an uncomfortable feeling
the fear
about
of
VR.
pain.
No.
I don't know.
Just an uncomfortable thing about VR where it's like it's so easy to get locked away. You can get engrossed in the game now. You got a big 50-inch telly, you got a surround sound system. Everyone's gone out. Mm-hmm. You can still look away from the screen.
Yeah.
Your phone will still vibrate. You'll still hear it. You'll still you someone unlocking the door or something. Yeah. But in VR, if you've got headphones on, you've got goggles over your face, that's it. You're in a completely other world. So I've already got a bit of it makes me feel a little bit, it's the first time in my life I've ever felt Luddite about something, because I'm like, I don't know if I like this. I don't know if I could really commit to doing this. So no. Yeah. I'm not doing a zombie
I feel
thing.
like it'd have some Black Mirror twist to it as well, where it's like the only way you can escape is get eaten. So you get eaten, then it turns out you die in real life or something.
Yeah.
I feel like it's a Black Mirror thing.
Yeah.
I mean, but you'd have to, wouldn't you? You'd have, if you were in the game. The only choice was to be stuck there forever, or to.
Or I guess, what motivation is there to keep going? Maybe you can survive long enough.
Yes,
get out that way.
Exactly. Because at the moment,
maybe get lots of money. I don't know. You need some motivation.
Yeah, there's no motivation for me to stay, so I'd put myself through the pain to get back to business. But I guess because I've not been offered an alternative, the alternative is the shittest reality ever, a lonely existence of zombies. So of course you'd want to get eaten and just end it all and then get back to real world. And
but what if the real world's gone to shit and it's full of zombies?
That's the twist.
That's like Twilight Zone.
Yeah,
that's Planet of the Apes sort of
that
stuff.
Is very Planet of the Apes.
Yeah, you blew it up. Okay, well, on that cheery note, thank you, very friendly Norwegian, and thank you everyone else for your great questions. I'll remind you, if you do want to ask us questions for next week's podcast, just find this podcast posted on our Patreon feed, respond directly to that, ask us whatever you want, and we will do our best to fit it in the following week's podcast. I've been Mike Williams, this has been Liam McKelvey and Jake Kulkowski. Thank you very much for watching, thanks for listening, we'll see you next time.